She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
What year is this?
Hey there, boils and ghouls. Welcome to another episode of Halloweekly. Nick and George here with what might be the last, possibly, Twin Peaks episode ever. So,
which makes us super sad because we've already done one
other one. Yeah. We
did our epic 2-episode series.
Our 2-episode arc is over. So grab a cup of coffee and a slice of pie and enjoy. Twin Peaks finale. It's Tuesday. We've had a few days to let the finale sink in. The two-parter finale.
And watch the internet melt.
Yes. Watch the internet melt. Try to figure it out.
Yes.
A lot of crazy reactions online. A lot of people. Most people confused, rightfully so, because a lot of people, even me, I didn't know what to make of it.
Pissed, disappointed.
I saw a lot of people saying
elated. There's a lot of different.
I saw a lot of people saying that episode 17 was their ending.
Yes,
they're like 17's the official
hashtag
end for
not
me.
my president. See, yeah. I don't think you can do that.
No,
okay.
it's not a thing.
Right.
Like there absolutely was an episode 18.
Right. Totally.
It aired. It people saw it, have discussed it, and that is your official.
We're gonna get hashtag not my ending trending.
I personally like the ending of 18. I've never. So the one thing I mentioned, we just did a Facebook Live right before we did the show, and one of the things people say about Twin Peaks is, it's one of the scariest things on television I've ever seen. I never understood it because I'd watched the clips on YouTube, and they're grossly out of context.
Yes,
when I watched them, I didn't sit through all the other episodes, all the other weird shit to hype it up and get it ready.
Right.
But I sat through. I think I missed one episode or 2 episodes of the new season, and the ending for this one with the scream and the lights going out, I don't want to say fucked me up, but it did something to me where I was like, this, that was shocking,
sure.
Bone chilling,
sure, scary.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people focused. All right. So here's the thing. Because I don't want to deep dive into the details of whatever it's. There's
enough of that going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, and really, the purpose of our podcast is to focus on the horror elements and reacting to it as horror fans, right? Mm-hmm. But there is a earlier moment in the Return where. Mr. C, Evil Cooper, is approaching false coordinates, and he gets his son electrocuted. Don't know if you saw that part. But the person witnessing that part was crazy stoner Jerry Horn.
Yeah, with the binoculars.
With the binoculars, right? And he was looking through the binoculars the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone accuses David Lynch of being really obscure. I feel like he was almost too on the nose. It's like he knew in advance that he was going to give you a 2-hour block of the finale of Twin Peaks, and everyone's going to focus on the last 90 seconds and the fate of one character, Cooper, and not focus on what you should do with binoculars, which is everything else.
Yeah.
We're looking at it the wrong way around, right? There are all kinds of happy endings that were salted through the final 2 hours, right? And there's all kinds of reasons to believe that what Cooper is trying to accomplish, which is to rescue someone who didn't deserve badness, is going to go on, right? So there's all these things happening, but I feel like when I go online, I'm just looking at people looking at binoculars. I just want to bad binoculars, because that's not how really that should go. But when you look at how the ending plays out, we don't know this, but we demanded what happened. This is The people who are upset at this, they don't even know that they actually requested it. They just don't know they requested it.
Yeah.
So, Twin Peaks, the original series, was David Lynch's favorite world he ever created. It's his favorite connection he ever made to a mainstream audience. And as soon as they revealed the solution to the mystery, i.e. who killed Laura Palmer, the series went downhill and was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
We taught him not to reveal mysteries. This is the lesson he learned from us.
Yeah.
Right? So then when the show ends with mysteries hanging and then the end credits roll and there's literally a picture of Laura Palmer whispering something into Dale Cooper's ear, using her hand to shield it so that we don't see what she's saying, he is literally telling you, you taught me not to reveal. The last image ever, I don't think there's ever going to be more Twin Peaks. The last image you will ever see of Twin Peaks is someone whispering something you don't know what they're saying into someone's ear. We taught him this.
And people are upset about it. They're like...
It's not just that David Lynch likes to, you've been lynched. Mm-hmm. It's not just that he's weird. It's not just, he's all those things. But it's not just those things. We taught him to do this.
Yeah.
Right? So this series is now going to be perplexing in perpetuity forever. People are going to try to figure out what the hell is happening to the end of time. And this is something that we actually instructed him to do. So, mm-hmm. That's it's part of like how that goes. And as a horror fan, like I know you're really good with video editing and audio. It was frightening, right?
Yeah.
Not just the end, but episode 17 and 18 as a block. The sound design, what was happening, was scary as shit.
You could just close your eyes and listen to the audio of those two episodes. And it just unsettles the shit out of you.
Yeah, even like super ordinary things were unsettling. Like he dropped guns in a deep fryer. And like that boily deep fryer sound was like, first of all, it made me never want to eat fried food again. Second of all, it made me wonder what the hell was happening to Agent Cooper, who was the worst gun safety in the history of TV at the end. It was like Plan 9 from outer space level. He was pointing it at people everywhere. Innocent
He didn't even
waitress.
care.
He didn't care. He was like, exactly. Like, it was like Ed Wood style directing, but that sound was like, blah, 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 what was happening? I was like, this is gross and unsettling.
And his line of just, I don't know if the temperature's hot enough to settle those bullets. But I'd get away if I were you.
Right, totally.
That's just a weird scene.
Yeah, it was weird, and it was super weird. I don't think, in all the hot takes I saw, I don't think there was any mention of the fact that he told the cook behind the scenes, I don't know if the fryer is hot enough to set off those bullets. You might want to move away. And he did, because that's what you do if someone tells you a gun's about to fire in a fryer, right? But Cooper didn't move.
That's what I
he stayed right there, right? So it's like all of a sudden he's semi-suicidal or doesn't give a shit, right? Like it's just a totally weird. But it's the audio and the editing that I really wanted to focus in on that part, because I know you were catching a lot of stuff that was creepy as hell.
For me, well, the one thing that I noticed immediately, and I think Kyle MacLachlan said it in an interview, was as soon as Richard at that point came up, like everything just got so weird, and like that's when I knew, like, oh, no one's gonna get the ending they wanted, because everyone wanted, like, they wanted closure, because it's been 20...
They wanted episode 17 ending.
Yeah, because they waited this long, they almost forgot like what made it great. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and don't get me wrong, because I loved episode 17, but I mean, just ask yourself why you spent 18 hours watching this. If you were going to be satisfied with a guy who had a superpowered green glove punching evil into pieces as the end of the 25 plus year history of Twin Peaks, if the X-Men ending was what you wanted
that was
out of Twin Peaks, because it was cool, but if that's where the note you wanted it to end on, then you got to ask yourself why you're watching Twin Peaks in the first place. Because all kinds of other things end that way.
Yeah. You know what it also kind of reminded me of a little bit was Chronicle.
I could see that.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because what's his face? The one sheriff guy got sent to the... it's
weird spots that are happening.
That's a very weird spot. Very fitting for this
Yeah,
for the episode.
this, yes.
He got sent to the lodge, or was it the lodge or the what? Not the lodge. The place with the what's his name? The fire.
He got sent to the lodge. It was I think it was the Black Lodge. But anyway, go ahead.
But anyways, they have this experience, and all of a sudden they come back with like this like wisdom, almost sort of like power-esque. I mean, I guess it's a power of knowing that this evil thing is present.
Right.
Or at least that's what I interpret. I could be 100%.
No, totally. But see, so and then here's the thing, like the tagline of the entire Return was, "It is happening again." Mm-hmm. that was the signal to you, right? So when the first series concluded, Audrey Horne, who everyone's complaining about.
Oh yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
We don't know what happened to her. She was at the Roadhouse. She did her dance, and then she was staring in a weird mirror. And then we expected an outcome, and we don't know the outcome. Well, the original series ended with her getting blown up in a bank vault and no one knowing whether she was alive or dead.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what happened to Audrey Horne when the first Twin Peaks that everyone loves. When the first Twin Peaks ended, we don't know what happened to her, and now we don't know what happened to her. And here's what I have to say to you: It is happening again. It is happening again. Dale Cooper was left like baffled and possibly possessed and thwarted at the end of the original Twin Peaks. Mm-hmm. Is happening again. I mean, it was the tagline.
They said it from the beginning
of the show.
Just
right?
The same thing.
Right. Exactly.
Again.
It's a be careful what you wish for sort of like scenario. But what I think was really special about this was they added like these little touching details that like when we met Laura Palmer, not Laura Palmer, at the end of 18. If you watch the last scene, you see that when he brings Carrie Page to the Palmer house, which isn't the Palmer house anymore, apparently, and he's trying to prompt her to remember. Mm-hmm. She's wearing an upside down horseshoe necklace. It's an upside down horseshoe. Laura is unlucky.
Oh, I didn't.
She's just unlucky. She's just the one who continually suffers and pays for, everyone else kind of free riding on. We get to hang out in a quirky town. We get to talk about coffee and pie and donuts. We get to whatever. But there was always like this really horrible pain at the center of the whole journey. And before she does her amazing scream, which we should talk about as horror fans,
Jesus.
Before she does that, and it launches out into the incredible sound design of that echoey, like whatever, you're looking at her and she's just blinking, and she's got this necklace that just symbolizes luck just falling out, like gravity's taken, like I mean, it's just going to keep happening. This is going to keep happening, and Cooper's never going to give up, and it's just going to go on this way.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not, I think anyone who's trying to come to some kind of conclusive judgment on this is what this means, Laura's the dreamer, or this is this. Or
yeah,
this
I saw a lot of that, like Laura's the dreamer.
That just baffles me because, I mean, I appreciate the effort of trying to like narrow it down to one theory, but if you were trying to force Twin Peaks through a funnel into a narrow spot where you can pour it into a cup and then just like enjoy it, like that's never what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. Because it couldn't be that way, because you have to respect the amount of fucking bad luck this character is going through. I mean, she was living her life apparently in a shitty circumstance with apparently a dead body on her couch, which we should talk about too, because that was terrifying.
Yeah,
this is the guy with a hole in his head.
They did not mention, and he had like this gross thing coming out of his belly, like he had been there for a while, and he was. Or
Bob was coming out, like one of the right.
I don't know what that was. That was
terrifying.
I don't like they just don't say anything.
no, they just but that was another thing about how Cooper changed, because like an FBI agent can't just leave that behind and not comment on it. Like if Carrie Page killed that guy, which it looked like she did. We don't know that she did, but it looked like she did. You can't just take a murder suspect on a road trip.
No.
And not worry about it. Like, that's not the FBI. That's not the Cooper.
No,
way,
they
right?
don't. They don't do that.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that changed throughout the thing, but that's it to me. Is it's just, I mean, it is happening again. Laura's unlucky again. Cooper's trying again, trying to narrow this down into one theory. Just never was going to be a thing. The thing that I really wanted to highlight about it was that, you know, I watched this with Jenny, and you know, I've watched a lot of horror movies with her, especially considering the podcast we do. And, you know, I've seen her scared. I've seen her hide under a blanket. I've seen her whatever, but I've never seen her squirm and then tell the TV, no, don't go there, no. And this happened a couple times watching this because it's really, really high level, true horror genre stuff between the screams and the unsettling atmosphere and the sound, right? So, I mean, those are things that were really, really unsettling. And you know, one of the things that horror is really good at is giving you, like, the weird side characters. Yeah. Like, think about the funny dude from Get Out.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to forget that guy.
No.
Right? Like, I mean, he's just so memorable. And the movie's less if he's not there, even though he's only got, like, what, 8 minutes screen time.
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah.
Right? And Twin Peaks was built on this ensemble cast of people like Miguel Ferrer, and I mean, it could go on and on and on. Just and I heard someone say, one of the things I really liked reading about was I read somewhere that someone said when the credits roll, the casting directors' names come up first, which is how it should be. I mean, talk about the actors in this, right? Like, holy shit!
Everyone was like super distinct. Like, one of my favorite scenes was when they were in the sheriff's office. This is from the whole season. In the sheriff's office, and they had what was it, like a donut or something like that? Mm-hmm. They're like, it's about the donut. Mm-hmm. It's not about the donut.
It was the bunny.
Oh, the bunny.
It's
yeah,
about
the bunny.
It's not about
like, it's not about the bunny.
Right.
It is about the bunny. And like
totally.
Any other set of actors, like, I don't think would have had like there's like a seriousness, like comedic, like appeal to it, and a charm to it too.
Yes.
And that cast, everything about that cast was super charming.
Yes.
Anytime they came on screen, I was happy to see them. Anyone in the sheriffs, I was great to see. They didn't spend a whole lot of time at the diner.
No, they actually didn't, and that was weird. But the diner was mostly populated by people from the old series. I felt like they didn't need to. They felt like they didn't need to spend time explaining those people to us because we knew them.
Yeah,
they spent more time on the newer people. But you know, that's another thing. One of the things about that I really like about the horror genre is I like the bait and switch. Right? I like, you know, like in King Kong, you know, the guy who's generating the Project Denim, he gives Fay Wray an opportunity, but then he sort of turns out to be an asshole. Like, in a lot of horror, like, that last scene is like a la Scream. The people aren't who you think they are or whatever, right? And Twin Peaks had a weird version of that where I met people and I thought I didn't give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
Like the Mitchum brothers. When I first met the casino guys, I could give two shits about who they were, and I didn't care. Like, I thought that was ridiculous. I thought Jim Belushi was a joke. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how he made it into the cast, and it bothered me that he was there. And they ended up being some of my favorite characters. It was like this amazing switch, like, right? Like, they were fucking awesome. Like,
even when I forget the actress's name, but her and Tim Roth showing up.
Oh yeah. Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah.
Yeah, just eating Cheetos.
Totally.
Like.
Yeah, and just saying random shit in the and the, you know, there were just these amazing moments of expressing the stress and frustration I think most people feel living in 2017.
Yeah.
Which the show really is of its time, and I think that's the fact that this show was really, really good at describing how I think a lot of us feel now, but ends on the line, what year is this? I mean, it gives me chills to think about watching this 10 years from now and hearing that character say, what year is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know there's some weird kind of like crossing into the real world vibe happening there. But like those guys, they were sitting in the van and they were pretty chill. They were just waiting to kill people. And they were pretty relaxed doing it, you know. And Jennifer Jason Leigh goes into the Las Vegas, the office, to kill Roger and whoever that guy is. And she's like literally on the phone, like talking about what she wants to eat that night while she's shooting people, because it's very casual. The only time they get ruffled is when they run out of fucking fast food, which is like the most American thing you can think of. Like, she's getting really agitated in the van, and Tim Roth's like, "What's your problem?" She's like, "It's the last fucking bag. It's the last bag." Like, do I have to explain this? Like, we're almost out of Cheetos. Like, and it's such
so
a perfect,
funny.
right? Like, but those random moments of, like, the Polish accountant.
Just to tag off those characters, when they had the shootout at the end, the Casino Brothers, their line, Jim Belushi goes, "What kind of fucking town is this?" And then the other guy just goes, "Everyone's just really stressed right now."
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And that adds up perfectly.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
We're fucking going
through. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's exactly one of the reasons why you could feel that the characters' emotional balances in this were off. Mm-hmm. They were less concerned about things they should concern about, and they were really focused on details that didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Which feels like the whole world we're living in now, right? So that's totally like a thing, but...
And it's the little details that don't even matter that everyone's so
totally
obsessed with.
But, this was one of the things that really, comes out here, and I'm not even sure how I feel about this as a Twin Peaks fan, but I know how I feel about it as a horror fan, is that this show is 100x more gory than the original series. Scary shit happened in the original series.
Yeah.
But not graphic shit.
A lot of graphic stuff happened in this one.
Really graphic things happened. And the way people died was sometimes shocking, sometimes depressing, sometimes just out and out scary. Mm-hmm. And when you think about, is Twin Peaks, does it even belong in the horror category? Does it get to put a foot in the pool, or is it in the pool altogether or whatever? When you think about it, like, there's a moment early on in the series where Bad Cooper has a character named Daria in a hotel room, and he's trying to get information out of her. And she keeps asking him, "Are you going to kill me?" And he keeps saying, "Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to kill you," but with no emotion whatsoever. And then when he actually beats her up, and then he finally gets a little bit of information out of her, and she's kind of like knows where this is headed, and she goes, "Are you going to kill me now?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm going to kill you now." Like, it is as chilling as anything you see in Seven or Don't Breathe or like these things. So, the fact that this show was able to bring that level of terror, while bringing comedy, while bringing soap opera, while bringing fucking Western.
They brought everything in the kitchen cabinet.
Right? And doing it without ever kind of like revealing what it felt it ultimately was. Because that's the one thing that you're never going to get out of Twin Peaks is if Twin Peaks was sitting across from you in a chair and you asked it what it was, it would not tell you.
No, it would just be that thing going, "I am the arm." And you'd be like, "All right. Thanks, Twin Peaks." That wraps everything up perfectly.
And then the last thing that I have about Twin Peaks is on the return is, I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. I've watched the original series a few times, and even I have to admit that I do a lot of fast forwarding now.
Yeah.
As much as I love the series, when you get to a point where mysteries have definitively been solved, then there are some scenes where you're just like, I don't need this anymore because I know how that ends. Mm-hmm. So for all the people complaining that this left so many things hanging, just remember that 5 years out.
Yeah.
Because my prediction is that this is going to be a crazy rewatchable show that you don't expect it to be. And when you rewatch it 5-10 years from now, it's going to be completely different than what the experience you remember now on the first watch. And I think that's on purpose, and I think it's super valuable. And I think it's what a lot of the best horror movies do. Like, how Psycho is going to play out. Mm-hmm. You know how Silence of the Lambs is going to play out. I mean, I literally, if Silence of the Lambs comes on, I just watch it.
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen, but I just watch it because there's something built in there that makes it a little bit different every time you see it. And I think this has that as a rocket fuel in it that is just going to be super surprising to people when they re-encounter it, miles down the road.
Yeah,
So,
it forces you to build it when you watch it.
totally. And there are going to be scenes, like the weird thing about one of the things that's really hard to pull off in horror is like a jump scare that lasts.
Yes.
The Exorcist 3's jump scare still works.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate to admit, because I don't particularly like the movie, the Insidious jump scare still works, right? But there's a lot of jump scares that don't work. They can't work because they're all built on that element of surprise. So there were jump scare moments in Twin Peaks. There were moments where, like when Ray springs on Cooper that he's got the loaded gun and Bad Cooper doesn't.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Trick you, fucker," and shoots him down. Like now, when you rewatch that, you're going to know that's coming. But the thing is that David Lynch built in other little details and other little things that are also super terrifying that we haven't caught yet. They're not jump scares.
Yeah, they're yet to be discovered.
Right, exactly. They're there, or they're from sound, or they're from realizing what that actually means. And the fact that we have that means that this is never going to be stale, and I don't know how that could be a complaint.
No, it'll stay fresh.
Right.
It's like a can of. It's
going to stay ahead of you as a viewer, like
for a good while.
For well, hopefully forever. But I think even more than much of the original season, that everyone was despondent about the fact that this didn't match. But that's
who cares?
Right, exactly.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It was great as it was good as they gave it to us.
But I think that's the other thing is I know I watched a lot of YouTube live reaction videos of certain episodes of this season, and you could tell that it was genuinely unsettling people. Like there were people who couldn't sleep, couldn't get out of their head.
I don't think I can count on one hand horror films or TV shows that have atmosphere or soundtrack as scary as some of the episodes of Twin Peaks.
Yes.
Like you just close your eyes, play them, and it's super unsettling.
Yeah, and you want to give a hat tip to someone who really actually knows the horror field and belongs in it. I think probably the apex of terror in The Return is the God of Light sequence.
Yeah.
It's the one that got me the most, scared me the most. And the song that he plays in the God of Light series, that amazing Platter song, makes a return in episode 18 when Diana and Cooper are having sex. And it's literally makes it more unsettling. It's like we got the Psycho shower music again later in Psycho.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if you were, or in Psycho 2 or whatever. Imagine when that music fires up. You're like, oh, shit.
You know what that music is
about. Exactly. So, that's what I mean about using those horror beats for. So I think it's truly scary. I think it's the scariest thing that's going to be shown on mainstream broadcast television this year and maybe for many years. And I think people who don't consider Twin Peaks horror or consider it too slow or slow burn maybe should take a second look at it or give it a shot if they didn't, because
it's all there. It's got all the ingredients.
It's fucking terrifying.
So. It worked for us. Scared the shit out of us. And I never thought I'd get into Twin Peaks.
No, yeah, well,
and it sucked me in.
Well, yeah, I'm glad it sucked you in, but it's such a high quality. I knew you'd appreciate the quality moments. It's just, this is a show that has 3 minutes of someone sweeping a floor at a bar. So
yeah, that's the shit that I think people like. Because even me, I was like, "What the fuck am I watching right now? Why am I doing this?" But for that 3 minutes, I got the whole God of Light episode,
right?
The ending scream.
Yeah, totally. And we gotta pour one out for Sheryl Lee. Holy shit! Think about her. We've said this on the podcast a couple times because I find this really fascinating. But Elsa Lancaster, who played the Bride of Frankenstein, is someone who became a horror icon for like 4 minutes of screen time or something ridiculous. Never appeared again. Never, not as that character that was. And stamped, like, to this day, we can walk into like any premium Halloween store in Los Angeles and she's there, right?
Yeah.
Sheryl Lee was cast in the original series as a body wrapped in plastic. Like, she had no part. There's no role. There's no, like, whatever.
Just a face.
You're just a face. And there were a couple of flashback scenes, but she literally was a body. And because of her acting talent and her charisma and her connection to David Lynch and how David Lynch grew with that character of Laura Palmer over the years, here we are witnessing her, like, 2.5 decades later commanding the very last moment of possibly the best show on television in the history of television, just out of a part that was nothing.
And she ends it in a terrifying fashion.
Oh my God, it was amazing. And it's just like such a testimony to, like, the not just her talent, but to the fact that David Lynch, for whatever you hate about him or for how much he annoys you, whatever, he likes to let things play out the way they're going to play out by instinct.
Yeah.
Right. His instinct told her she should have a better part. His instinct made him bring her back as Maddie later in Twin Peaks, the original series, and his instinct gave her another character again in this one, and gave what I think was like the perfect last moment for what this should be.
No, it was
right. So, as a horror fan, whatever Twin Peaks fans think, when you end a show on that note, like, I've got chills. Like the people around me are screaming and going, "What's happening?" And, like, that's what I wanted.
That was one of the only scares that, like, I felt like in my stomach. I was like, shit.
Totally.
That ends on such a fucking strong note.
All right, and this is actually a good note for us to end our probably last ever Twin Peaks episode, unless they get another crack at it, with I highly, highly doubt. But you never know with David Lynch. I mean,
who knows?
Every 25 years. So when he's 94,
who knows? Who fucking knows? In the meantime, there'll be enough coffee and pie to go around.
Totally, for
to
sure.
hopefully last us until whatever the next thing he does comes
Absolutely.
out. So until next time, watch a bunch of scary movies and stay
and TV
scary.
shows.
And TV shows. A lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
And
Ash is coming back, right?
Oh, that's right.
Super excited. And The Exorcist. Oh, there's so much good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of good shit coming out.
This is a great season.
It is the Halloween season.
It
starts in September.
It's getting
That's
real.
a well-known fact.
Totally.
It's time to put up Halloween decorations.
Absolutely.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Get them up. Be scary. Until next time. See you.
Bye, guys.